God stands in the divine assembly. He administers judgment in the midst of the gods. How long will you judge unjustly and show favoritism to the wicked? Judge on behalf of the helpless and the orphan. Provide justice to the afflicted and the poor. Rescue the helpless and the needy. Deliver them from the hand of the wicked. They do not know or consider. They go about in darkness, so that all the foundations of the earth are shaken. I have said, you are gods and sons of the Most High, all of you. However, you will die like men, and you will fall like one of the princes. Rise up, O God, judge the earth, because you shall inherit all the nations. Welcome back to Fresh Ground Theology, where theology gets weird in the best possible way. I'm David Ryan.
And I'm Nate. Glad you're here, whether you're driving, working out, or doing that kind of fake cleaning thing where you just keep relocating one object and calling it productivity.
It's long winded for ADHD, right?
Yeah.
And I'm Wes, and today we've got plagues, divine warfare, national gods getting publicly embarrassed, and coffee.
Always
Amen.
coffee. So the last couple episodes we talked about spiritual geography, territorial power, sacred space, nations and their gods. Today we hit one of the biggest biblical examples of that whole worldview colliding with real history. The episode today is called Darkness Falls, the Exodus, the Plagues, and the War of the Gods. And right out of the gate, here's the claim. The Exodus is not just a rescue story, it's a cosmic takedown.
Boom.
Yeah, it's not just, hey, let my people go. So it's more like, hey, let my people go. And while I'm at it, your whole spiritual system is about to go down, publicly announced.
Absolutely. That's exactly it. And a lot of us grew up reading these plagues like they're just like these dramatic miracles. And they were, frogs, gnats, blood, darkness. It's pretty wild. Really wild, really, when you get into it. But the deeper thing is none of this is random. Like it's targeted. It's not just God, tossing down some spiritual fireworks and like shaking it up a little bit.
He did that
No,
to a
it's
couple of cities,
yeah, he did do that to a
Sodom and
couple of
Gomorrah.
cities, but that was also a little bit more than just fireworks too.
Yeah.
But in this case, it's God is dismantling Egypt's claims about who runs the world.
Yeah, and also once you see that, you can't unsee it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But before we get in all that, I think it's time to talk about coffee. So,
Yeah.
what y'all do for coffee today?
I had this morning I made some Mystic Monk breakfast blend, which is
Oh yeah.
always good. And I actually have a cup of that of Mystic Monk breakfast blend as well. Next to it I do have, some iced tea from Chick-fil-A.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Though
That's
I
sweet.
I do live in the South, well, we all live in the South, but this is unsweet tea, which
Oh,
I know a
I
lot
oh,
of
don't
oh,
people
know.
wouldn't
no,
like.
Oh,
David.
Yeah, hey, cutting
Uh,
back on my sugar.
uh, I mean, I
I
jeez.
can't
understand that,
I
man,
can't say
but
I'm cutting back
Dude,
on
just
sugar
you
and
might
drink
as
a cup of sugar.
I just, I just, I just take
I don't
tea
know,
out
man.
of the pitcher altogether if it's got to be unsweet iced tea. Yeah.
I mean, I drink unsweet hot tea, so
Uh,
and disclaimer, I am from mostly from the Midwest, so, it's not as weird out there.
yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
One
I
I mean, I
suppose
enjoy
so.
my sweet tea sometimes, but, I didn't want to, compromise my goals in eating less sugar.
Well, that's okay. I actually do when I do cold, iced tea. I actually at home, anyways. I do mango peach tea, peach green
Oh.
tea, because it's crystal light type stuff,
Yeah.
and because I'm diabetic,
Yeah.
and so I need to. watch that as well. So
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Well, speaking of teas, tonight I am drinking a lavender goldenrod tea. It's pretty good. No, the goldenrod I'd harvested off my prophecy. The lavender I haven't quite figured out how to grow yet. It doesn't grow very well around here, so I'm
Hmm.
trying to. I have a small plant, but it's not productive. But yeah, no,
okay,
it's all right. But I did have my like last week I had my Indian roast this morning, and it was pretty good, pretty level, pretty smooth, and all around enjoyable roast.
that's
Kept me
cool.
awake.
Well, I had sitting here right now. I'm drinking out of my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles mug, and yes, and I am drinking some Earl Grey tea that
There we
my
go.
neighbor, same neighbor I was talking about earlier, she gave this to me. It was in K cups, but it's the first time I ever had it, and it's really good.
Which brand is
I
it?
like
It's I you know what? I can't remember.
probably
I have no
Twinings.
idea.
I did get some
So
of the that brand of tea for my department at work for the K cup because everyone doesn't drink coffee, so I wanted something for the tea
Yeah.
drinkers to have, and the Earl Grey and that it's not too bad. I mean, it's a
I
K
feel
cup,
like you
but
can do a basic Earl Grey and it's not too bad. Like,
yeah,
Earl Grey can just be Earl Grey.
it
I know there's
wasn't
different
bad.
grades to it, but
I mean,
but
I did put 4 packets of stevia in there just because
oh my word.
that's my
why?
thing. But
There you
I
go.
I can't fathom putting anything in Earl Grey because it has that nice that bergamot flavor, that citrusy kind of thing going on with it, and I just I like to
Well,
let its flavor stand on its own.
see, I drank a ton of Earl Grey in high school because it's
Yeah.
like I want to try to get off the coffee and drink Earl Grey. And problem is I drank too much. And so now I cannot drink Earl Grey by itself because I'll just lose it. Like actually lose it. And so I just
I assume you
I
mean you feel sick
yeah,
to your stomach at that
I
point.
feel sick to my stomach and I throw up. Anyways, yeah, so I have to do the cream and sugar route for my English teas. Hey, we'd love for you to join us on Patreon. If you're enjoying the show and want to help it grow, come check out our page and sign up. Members get access to bonus content like small groups, Bible studies, and a lot more. Also, we have a book on the Jesus Prayer over at Amazon. It's a great way to support the show and to walk deeper with Christ on your journey. So you can find all these links at freshgroundtheology.com. But
Yeah. Oh wow.
yeah, so
But so ancient Egypt.
anyways, ancient Egypt. Let's get into ancient Egypt.
all
So
right.
to understand the plagues, you have to understand Pharaoh. Because Pharaoh is not just a king in the normal sense. He's not president, prime minister, military commander. In Egyptian thought, he's bound up with the structure of reality itself.
Hmm.
Which that's insane, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean that's already a bigger job description than I would ever want to have.
You and me
Yeah.
both.
I mean,
But
come
yeah,
on now.
so
Like reality itself. I mean,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
as a human, I'd be like, yeah, never mind. Somebody else take this. You
Yeah,
know.
Well,
and Pharaoh, so he's not just running a government. He's supposed to uphold Ma'at. And so now that word gets flattened sometimes into law and order. And but that that's too small. So Ma'at is more like truth, justice, balance, rightness, social harmony, and cosmic stability. The sense that the world is functioning the way it's supposed to. The Pharaoh's job is to maintain that order on earth. Pharaoh was the one who must rule by Ma'at and even put Ma'at in place of injustice. So when Pharaoh rules, it's not just administration, it's cosmic management.
wow. And like, okay. And so that means like the Egyptian kingship it went even further than just than that. Pharaoh wasn't merely appointed by some gods in the distant sense. He was actually tied to divine identity,
Mhm.
linked with Horus as the living ruler and as the sun god's royal model. And that world, like kingship, isn't outside creation's order. It's actually pretty much part of it. And, by the way, a little side note on this one, like, I've had it people we look at Isaiah of chapter 14, and it says, about the king of Babylon, right? And then it goes on, we classically take that passage and reference to Satan, yeah, ho Lucifer, Lucifer, how art thou fallen? Uh, and, like, people have, like, talked to me like, "God, people don't think of this as themselves, people don't think, that they're this high walking with God," and it's like, pretty much every
Some
king
people
in the
do.
ancient world,
Yeah.
every king, especially if you were ruling a pretty big empire, you did. You were pretty much up there. Now I think there's more going on in the passage than just the human king, but at the same time, yeah, they definitely thought of themselves in this way. Yeah.
And the
Right.
But
cosmic
anyways,
order aspect of the pharaohs, a really interesting thing. And
yeah,
honestly, I hadn't really heard about that part till I heard Heiser talking about it in his podcast when he was going through Exodus.
yeah,
Like
Right.
I
Right.
had heard about, the plagues being, against the different gods, but the whole pharaoh maintaining order, it it really
yeah,
makes a lot of the plagues make more sense.
Yeah. Yeah, it really
yeah,
does. And so basically Pharaoh's whole brand is I'm the guy keeping chaos from eating the universe, which I mean, which
Would that
also
be
this is the
Leviathan?
I know this and it's also interesting because to me because this is he is supposed to be keeping chaos at bay, right?
Yeah.
yeah,
And keeping order. And when you look in the first chapter of Genesis,
yeah,
the spirit of God is what creates order. He
yeah,
He is who creates order out of the chaos that is there, you know? And so therefore, like even in the first chapters of Genesis,
Well, and
Yahweh's
it's without slaying
already
the chaos
showing
dragon too.
himself. He's already showing himself, you know, over Pharaoh,
yeah,
even in the
yeah,
very
yeah.
first chapter. I mean, you already see it. So,
Well, I do
even
think also,
literally, he takes
yeah,
control.
and I do think this also kind of reflects the truth a little bit, where you had creation week God organizing or God creating and taking it from chaos to order. But then he puts man in the garden, which is order. But the outside of the garden was wilderness,
Right.
not order, chaos. And he tells Adam to go subdue it and make it, not chaos anymore.
Yeah.
And that is that's having the dominion. So we see this idea of the king being the guy who organizes and makes things right and non-chaotic, even in Genesis. So it's like he's not entirely off base, but as we're pretty much going to see through this passage, Pharaoh and the gods, we're focusing a lot on the gods. Kind of had this idea that they were definitely the only ones, and they were not subject to Yahweh, the uncreated creator.
Right.
But, so it really I mean, yeah, so the guy I like how you said, "I'm the guy keeping chaos from
Keeping
eating the
chaos.
universe."
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's really the claim, like, so when we get to Exodus, really, it's not just Moses confronting this cruel politician, it's Yahweh confronting a ruler who claims to be the guarantor of order itself, and, here's where it really gets interesting. The whole, like, hardening of Pharaoh's heart thing, may actually really have Egyptian overtones with it because, in their idea, the heart is weighed, a heavy heart, when you die, like, your heart is weighed against a feather, and so that heavy, heavy heart idea works as a polemical jab inside Egypt's own moral framework, as his heart
Mm.
is weighed against the truth, which is kind of mind blowing too. I didn't realize that till today.
Yeah, it's
It's
pretty cool, right?
Yeah, yeah,
I know, it's pretty awesome. And so the text is not just saying Pharaoh is stubborn, it's probably saying, like, even by your own standards, your king, who's hardening his heart, is failing. Like,
yeah.
wow.
And seriously, that's brutal, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
That's
is.
that's rough.
Yeah, because every plague is basically announcing the same verdict. Pharaoh can't maintain order. Pharaoh can't protect Egypt. Pharaoh can't keep the world together, and Pharaoh's gods are not helping him. It's just like everything.
Yeah.
Your world is collapsing.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like, I'm in construction, so it's kinda like load-bearing walls, and if you start tearing out one, you start having problems. And if you just keep tearing them out one by one, the whole thing just comes down. And the plagues are just just sledgehammers to these walls that keep
Right.
keep the empire built. And really, that's kind of something that we miss in our modern reading of it.
Oh,
We read
absolutely.
miracle. We kind of like, oh yeah, God's powerful. He does this stuff, but
Right.
we miss like the targeted and specific ways that God is working. And Egypt saw this, and the world, like, with a high hand I led you out of Egypt. uh
Oh, yeah.
the
Right.
world saw this as a systematic uh dismantling of the Egyptian
Seriously.
gods and way of life. It was a total system failure. But, so we've talked around the plagues a little bit and whatever.
Yeah.
Uh, David, what's up with the plagues?
Okay. But here's where it gets, wild. Really interesting. So Exodus 12:12 basically gives you the decoder ring for the whole thing. On all the gods of Egypt, I will execute judgment. That means the plagues are not just disasters, they are targeted strikes. This is not random pain. This is theological warfare. Yahweh is not just breaking Pharaoh's economy, he's dismantling Egypt's entire map of reality. And honestly, once you see it, it's there. You just it's hard to unsee it. And,
Right.
because Egypt didn't just have gods in the abstract. They had gods attached to the Nile and to fertility and healing and livestock, to the sky, to kingship, and to the sun itself. So the plagues are like Yahweh walking through Egypt and saying, "This one too, and this one, and this one."
It's just
Yeah. Seriously. And,
well,
it's less a weather event and more like a public demolition of your entire spiritual infrastructure.
That's how the
it's just
storm that came
Like,
through a couple nights ago felt.
on my word. Yeah.
yeah,
I'm
Dude,
just glad I didn't lose
you know
power.
another dead tree fell on my workshop. So
Nah.
I got home yesterday and outside with the cats, and I look over and see this tree leaning on my workshop. It's like,
Oh,
not again.
man.
It was a tree
Oh,
I knew
man.
was going to eventually fall, but I couldn't get to it with where it was to like preemptively cut it down. So
Mm.
I had to get out a pole saw to stand back so when I cut it, it wouldn't fall down
Yeah.
and kill me. So I'm like,
Oh, smart.
it took forever. Sorry.
No, you're good. I was worried I'd lose a couple trees, but nothing got lost here. But anyways, but yeah, back. I yeah. So plagues. They're. It's not just God saying. It is God saying I'm stronger than Pharaoh, but it's not only that.
Yeah.
It's God going through. He's really saying, like, your river isn't sovereign, your sky not sovereign, fertility, yeah, not sovereign, your healing cults, your royal line, none of those are sovereign, but I am. And he's just like he's taking back. If we go back to Psalm 82 and Deuteronomy 32, right?
Yeah.
He's distributed this power to these angelic or supernatural beings, and he just goes through in these plagues and just like you said, just starts taking back his authority and power and just systematically crushes them. And
So
so I mean, it's
basically
just
Yeah.
the aftermath of him standing in the assembly of the gods.
yeah, like, yeah, it's like you think like Psalm 82 may have not happened just one time. It might have been like multiple times that he does this. It's just kind of, yeah, it's kind of wild. And really, back to keeping it, trying to keep it on Exodus. Uh, really, one of the things that it kicks things off is, of course, this staff to serpent sign, and it's really just a shot across the bow. Like Pharaoh's magicians showed up as these ritual specialists, basically like lector priests. The whole scene is framed like a contest with Egyptian magic itself. The serpent imagery would have sounded cosmologically loaded in Egypt. Of course, that
Right.
chaos serpent, associated in the background. So even before the Nile turns red with blood, Yahweh is stepping into Egypt's sacred theater and taking over the stage. Like he's there.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
it's
like
pretty
an
awesome.
ancient wizard battle between
Yeah,
foes.
and he just tosses his real easy one out there. He's like, "Watch this," and and they think it's gonna be easy peasy, and then by the end of it, it's just like, "Nope."
And,
Well, and the crazy thing is that they were, like, kind of matching him a little bit through the
Yeah,
process, like and we read that and we think, "Oh, some weird trickery and stuff," and then you realize, "Oh, wait, these entities are actually behind these false
yeah,
gods." It's like, no, they probably succeeded in some of that and stuff, just not on the grand scale that, you know,
yeah,
this god of the Hebrews was doing to them.
and I
yeah,
think it's neat that at every turn and this right in the beginning, he shows Yahweh shows them up. He shows his dominance. It's like, sure, they created a couple of snakes, but then, Yahweh's 8 hit theirs, you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
right, right.
and so and let's not forget, just side note, it wasn't Moses who threw the staff down. It was
That's
Aaron.
true.
Let's,
Right.
okay,
Did I say Moses
that's
did it?
my no, 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 no. You didn't
Okay,
I
say
it wouldn't
probably
Moses
said
did
it.
it.
surprise me if I
I'm just
accidentally.
saying that, most people are, like, having their head Moses. That's my little side note. Okay,
Well,
I'm done.
Aaron does get kind of overshadowed by his older brother,
Yeah.
or is it his
His
younger brother? His
younger
younger
brother.
Younger.
brother.
Yeah, younger brother. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Higher up, on the social class. Yeah. Hey, at least I corrected myself,
yeah.
Yeah.
didn't
Do it.
completely forget who was older than that. But, anyways, yeah, so the thing, like, we read it like cool miracle, in our modern lens, but, Egyptians read it like, why is there symbolic world collapsing in front of us?
Yeah.
Um, so let's start with the first plague,
Sure.
water to blood. So the Nile goes to blood, which means that Yahweh is not having Egypt on his shoulder. He's grabbing Egypt by the throat. This plague would have targeted gods like Happy, Num, Osiris. This is so much bigger than the river god grows. The Nile in Egyptian imagination is life itself. Happy, am I saying that right?
Hoppy
Yeah.
or yeah, something
Happy
like
Poppy,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That deity is tied to the Nile's flooding and abundance. Uh, Khnum is connected to the river's source and to creation imagery. Osiris is tangled up with life, death, renewal, even agricultural vitality. So when the Nile becomes blood, Yahweh is hitting Egypt's bloodstream, the place where Egypt says life begins, becomes a place of death, and even the dead fish matter. In Egyptian symbolic logic, that's not just ecological, almost said eschatological, ecological damage. That's the sign screaming, your life source cannot save you. Uh,
Yeah.
and there's even more irony. Egyptian magic used water for protection, purification rites. So once the Nile is struck, the ritual machinery starts breaking down too. It's like Yahweh just poisoned the operating system.
Yeah. And, in all the first plagues, as with the Nile, to blood plague, uh, the magicians can only replicate the plague, right? They
Yeah.
they only make the matters worse, right? Yeah. I mean, seriously, they're supposed to be the ones that are helping Yahweh. They're supposed to be the ones that are helping Pharaoh keep this Ma'at thing going on. And they just make the matters worse. And so Yahweh is the one that has to take the plague away.
Yeah,
It's just
which is
another way Yahweh shows he is the only one in control. So the first plague is basically cute civilization. Shame if somebody judged the river god. Right? I mean, I'm just saying, it's like
yeah,
they cannot, they can't do anything, and they only make it worse. Like, yeah, it's
yeah,
crazy.
absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
So, okay.
God's like, be done, y'all, be done.
So I guess, it would be a shame if someone just judged the river god. Um, so the next plague, frogs. And then, you get frogs, which sounds funny until you realize this is a direct hit to Heket. So
Yeah,
yeah, so we have another
Right.
god being called out by this plague, by
yeah. So
another plague.
Heket is associated with fertility, birth, life. Frogs were normally considered a good sign. They meant abundance, new life. Everything's working. There's water in the Nile because frogs love water. Yeah, generally speaking. So Yahweh's not inventing some random weird symbol. He takes the symbol of blessing and turns it into a freaking nightmare. Uh, and that's what the genius of this plague is. It's kind of a reversal. The thing you trusted to represent life starts crawling into your ovens, your beds, your houses, just everywhere. Uh,
Everywhere.
and blessing becomes just absolutely suffocating. There's a line that as a kid I watched some like cartoon is a PBS show with about math and space and something. I forget what the name of it was. But anyways, and there was this line, I still remember it. Too much of a good thing is too much of a good thing. And apparently that's what's going on in this one. Really, God just kind of like, okay, you like frogs? Well, cranks that nozzle up to like red line in it. And so it's really terrifying, honestly, really. Like it doesn't say because it says your idols um, don't always fail by just disappearing. Sometimes they fail by overfilling your life until they become an absolute misery. Just like,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, and you know what? Something else that's interesting about Ket is that she
Yeah.
was depicted as having a woman's body and the head of a frog, alright?
Man.
And she was also the god who was supposed to be in control of the frog population. So, it's like Yahweh was saying, "Nope, sorry, Heket, but I'm the one in control. You don't control the frog population." And he's telling the Egyptians, "Your God's got nothing on me.
Yeah.
I'm the
It's
one
just,
who controls this." You know? Uh, I
Yeah,
can
it's
bring chaos into your life, and I can take it away, but they can't do it, you know?
I know.
yeah, it's
It's
kind
just
of hard to imagine living in a society where like you have these pantheons of gods. I know that we have different cultures with pantheons now, but like, you've grown up with this pantheon and this group of people have their weird one god and he's just kind of kicking your god's
yeah,
butts,
right.
so to
Yeah.
speak. It's
All your God's butts too. I mean,
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just so crazy to think about that.
He's
Cause
just
like what
going one by
if
one
if I
through.
was in that situation, like what would I be thinking? I think it would just be a lot of like dumbstruck at what I'm witnessing. It's like, wait a
right.
second, what's happening now?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, so the next one, the third plague, we got gnats or lice. So the plague isn't cleanly aimed at one Egyptian god. It's strict hit on Egyptian sacred power itself, especially the magician priest system. Yahweh takes the very dust associated with creation and turns it into a weapon. Geb is the closest candidate since the plague comes from the dust to earth, but that's more of a potential association than a firm scholarly consensus. So then the dust turns into gnats or lice, depending on the translation. Now the priesthood is wrecked, and this one is brilliant. It's easy to it's a skip because it's small and itchy and not very cinematic. But in Egyptian terms, it's savage. Sand
Right.
and dust were bound up with ideas of creation and also with magical practice. So, what Egyptian ritual specialists would use in protective or symbolic ways, Yahweh turns into a living swarm of uncleanness, and the magicians can't reproduce it. That's when they say, "This is the finger of God," which is fascinating because that wording itself may echo Egyptian magical language. So, the point is not
Wow.
just there are bugs now. The point is the priesthood is benched, the ritual experts are out of answers, and the symbolic materials of Egyptian order have turned against Egypt. There's a lot going on
So
here.
wow. So the spiritual staff meeting just ends with, "Guys, this is above our pay grade." Oh, like that
Yeah.
just that's amazing to me.
I mean,
And
that does kind of go along with our, contemplating of like, oh, so this is like what happens after the judgment in Psalm
yeah.
82.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. You're
You're
It's
right,
like
the
yeah.
and this is like, I've
yeah,
said you are sons of God, but you will die like men.
it's sticking
Yeah.
with the
Yeah.
It's
pay
like
grade
this
analogy
is
there. It's like,
Well,
sorry, I
yeah,
just went
it's
blank.
like
Yeah,
the gods got this is like lower management with the priests and stuff, and the lower management, they're
right.
just sitting around like, looks like upper management's getting smoked on this one. Guys, we're out.
Yep.
We nope, not our problem.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
then the next one, or did you have something else you want to say about
No,
that?
no, no. Yeah, that's about it. No.
Okay. So after that we get flies. Um
Yeah.
and flies and now we
Wee,
start
wee.
getting boundaries. Goshen is spared and this one targeted the god Kepri. And that matters a lot. Kepri is associated with rebirth, becoming, emergence. So again, Yahweh is targeting a symbol complex Egypt would have loaded with meaning. But the really explosive thing here is the separation between Egypt and Goshen, because now Yahweh is not only sending judgment, he's drawing sacred geography. He's saying, I decide where chaos stops, I decide where protection begins. And
Jeez.
that is the direct threat to Pharaoh's claim. Pharaoh is supposed to be the one who maintains that order in the land, but he can't even keep the plague from crossing a country line. That's devastating.
Like, it's just like, he can't even send the bad stuff over on the other people too. It's just like, "Nope,
Right.
this line right here."
Yeah, and then, next, we have livestock dying. So this
Yeah.
targets the gods Apis and Hathor. I think I
Yeah.
pronounced that right. So
Something close to that.
Yeah. And that's another load-bearing wall, like,
mhm,
Nate was talking about earlier, because Apis is tied to bull imagery and vitality, sacred strength. Hathor has cow symbolism, fertility, motherhood,
mhm,
nourishment, all of that. These were actually gods that looked like, this was like, Apis actually the imagery was a bull, right? And
mhm,
so this is supposed to be strong, and keeping the livestock strong. And so this is not just a bad day for farmers. All right. This isn't
yeah,
just, oh well, one bad day. This is Yahweh hitting the symbols of power, fertility,
Sheesh.
and economic stability all at once. So
yeah,
cattle in Egypt are never just cattle. They are theological props in the story Egypt tells about itself. And Yahweh said, Yahweh is tearing those props off the stage. It's like every sacred logo in the empire suddenly catches fire, right?
yeah,
And the like I said, it's that imagery in the minds of the Egyptians that's just wow.
yeah.
This little bitty God of these little bitty Israelites is taking us out. It's
Well,
taking our
and
gods
don't
out.
And
forget, like,
it's
cattle
not
and
even
live
trying.
yeah, and cattle
Yeah,
and livestock in the ancient Near East was like, wealth. So not only is he, aiming at these gods, he's like,
Oh, yeah.
I think you mentioned the economy, right?
Right.
Um, yeah, you did. And
Yeah.
so it's like, yeah, it's aiming at these gods, but we're also destroying your economy. Like,
Right.
there goes all your
Yes.
wealth. It's dead, which is also very devastating. Um, yeah. So after that, then we get boils, which just sounds really unpleasant to me.
Very
I
much
just
so.
can't imagine being covered in that. Like, I, d-
Yeah.
I really don't want to think about it. Um, but that's
Ever
targeting God's Sekhmet and Emotep. So
I'm so glad you pronounced those. I'm about to pronounce them too, but
I
Sekhmet
don't know
and
if I did a good
Imhotep.
job.
Well,
every time I see Imhotep right here, I just think about, the mummy. Okay,
Yeah,
that's the
me
last
too.
yeah, that's true. That's
movie
true.
reference there.
Yeah. Well, this one's particularly humiliating as well. Sekhmet is associated with power and healing. Imhotep becomes tied to the wisdom and healing tradition. And so now, okay, the boils also show up on the magicians, right? And they
Yeah.
do crazy things and they also heal people, right? And now they can't heal. So the healers cannot heal. And it gets worse because the plague is so severe that where the magicians can't even stand in front of Moses. It's not like they're losing their argument and able to leave the room like with their tail between their legs. They just physically can't even like they can't even like hang back in the shadows. They're not there. Like it
Right,
hurts,
right.
and it is public humiliation, public theological humiliation. It's just like, it's no good. This is it. And it's okay, and also, it's also the important thing about going back to that structural idea. Um, this plague is a hinge point in the hardening theme about Pharaoh's
Ye
heart, right? Up to this point in the story, uh, Pharaoh, his story repeats how Pharaoh hardens his own heart, right? And so he's weighing it down and with his own stubbornness. Well, from here into the final stretch, it flips where now God, Yahweh, is hardening Pharaoh's heart and it becomes much more pronounced in the narrative. So the signs stop feeling like mere warnings and start feeling like just sheer judicial exposure. That's just everything's
Mhm.
coming out.
Yeah.
So it's pretty wild.
yeah. And, you know, so this episode shifts from, "Will you listen?" Like, "Come on, Pharaoh," "Will you listen?" to, now, guess what? Now the world gets to see what you really are, and not only that, but it
Yeah.
also shifts to, "Okay, I'm going to," Yahweh's like, "I'm gonna harden your heart so that everybody's also gonna see how much more powerful I am than all your gods, than
Yeah.
you, than Egypt, than all your gods." He's like, "This is so the nations will see how powerful I am." And yeah, and it's true. I mean, you once they leave, you've got nation after nation that's like, "Yeah, we heard about y'all.
Yeah.
We we
Yeah.
heard about these guys that took down Egypt. We don't want to, what about these guys that are coming? They took down Egypt, So God's like, yeah, they're gonna know about me because of what I do here. So I'm gonna harden your heart, you know?
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
It's wild.
it's
That's exactly
it's
right. Yeah.
yeah.
It's
Okay. So after that, then we get hail. Fire and ice from the sky. This targets the gods Nut, Shu, and Set. And this plague feels apocalyptic. Nut is the sky. Am I saying that right? Nut, Nu-
yeah, I think it's
I
and
would
nut.
say I would say
Nut.
so.
Yeah. Um, to the audience, if I have been butchering the names of these deities, feel free to leave a comment. And,
Yeah.
constructive criticism is always welcome. So,
Very.
Nut
Yeah.
is the sky goddess. Shu is tied to the air, and Set has storm associations in certain frames. So, when fire and hail crash down together, it's like the sky itself has gone rogue. And this plague is a real turning point. Pharaoh actually says, "The Lord is in the right." That's huge. This plague functions almost like an educational climax. Egypt is being taught something. And for a moment, Pharaoh says it out loud. So hail is anti creation. Heaven is no longer nurturing earth. Heaven is attacking earth. The created order Egypt. Trust has become a weapon in Yahweh's.
Sheesh.
which is
Heavy stuff there.
absolutely terrifying. That's a terrifying sentence, by the way. Heaven is attacking earth. I mean,
Mm.
we can't exactly attack heaven. So heaven's no longer looking down and saying, "Hey, we're going to help you." Heaven's actually attacking earth. That's
Oh
crazy.
no, they might have been trying it at the Tower of Babel,
Well,
or at least
trying,
getting up there
trying.
somehow.
That's the thing, trying. But
Ah, but God
heaven's
said if
actually doing
if
it.
they're united, they can do anything. So you had to
Ah, that's
break
true.
up the group.
Maybe if it's in a hyperbole
A
type
dim- an
sentence, but yeah, I don't
interdimensional
know.
gateway at the top of a ziggurat. Why not?
Why
Um,
not? Heck yeah.
Okay,
Produce some
now
fertilizer
I'm
while you're at it.
now I'm picturing like Ghostbusters, you know, at the top of the building. Sorry. Okay, go ahead, Nate. Yeah, whatever.
okay, so
No,
the
you're
next
good.
one is locusts. So the
We're on
the
plague
locust,
number 8, by the way.
yes,
Plague number
eight,
Yeah.
8.
number eight, locusts, and locusts finish whatever's left. Basically, this is a hit on Egypt's fertility and harvest system, including Min as a fertility god. So
Right. So,
locust, more
yeah.
bugs destroying everything.
Well, what the hail left on the ground, the bugs came and ate pretty much. If hail is attacking the earth, locusts are basically the cleanup crew. They strip bare afterwards. And min, mine, I don't know, is tied to fertility, productivity, and generative power. So when the land gets shaved down to absolute nothing, Yahweh is saying, your fertility gods cannot keep a single stalk of grain standing. It's not just about the crop loss, right? This is civilizational humiliation. Your gods cannot give you bread. That's it. You're done.
J- Which is the ancient version of your supply chain is a joke.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Your managers suck.
These
Your
analogies,
middle
man.
managers
Seriously.
suck. Your supply
Yeah.
chain sucks.
There is no UPS for you. It's,
Now,
nothing's
does
being
anyone really want
delivered.
you?
Nothing's being delivered.
No,
Okay, so the mailing system has collapsed, according to
Right.
Wes. Uh, so the ninth plague, we get darkness. Um, everyone remembers the darkness. We're even referencing it in the title of this episode. Darkness falls. And this targeted the god Ra. Like,
yeah.
this is like the big,
The big one. Yeah. So, and this is number 9, right? So he's
yeah,
kind of escalating things as we go through here. 9, absolute darkness. And this is really the theological uppercut. Ra is not just a sun god in a vague sense. In Egyptian royal theology, the sun is bound up with order, rule, legitimacy, daily victory over chaos, right? The sunrise is that reassurance that, uh, you know, uh, chaos is not going to conquer us. The system still works. So the 3 days of thick darkness is not just about the blackout, it is symbolic dethronement of the solar order. So if Ra is identified with the creator's operative power, then striking the sun is like dragging Egypt backwards towards
Yeah.
pre-creation chaos. Like, and of course, the whole time, Israel's over there, uh, just sitting in sunlight while the Egyptians, they're sitting in the darkness, right? That's the whole punchline. Uh,
Right.
it's Yahweh, not Ra, who really governs the day and the night. It's just, yeah.
yeah.
And
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
that's I mean, and, that's so disrespectful. I
Poor
mean,
Ra.
like, not only
Poor
does your
Ra.
sun god fail, but he fails selectively. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I mean,
Your
it's
God. Yeah. You.
he's like,
you-
Israel can keep their light, but Egypt, you've got none. and they're like, "Wait a minute, Ra, what are you doing?" Our enemies
Yeah,
have
yeah.
light. What? The slaves have
Yeah.
light? What's up with
Yeah.
this? Yeah.
Yeah, 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 that's I mean, and that's the whole point. It's like it's not just random darkness. This is targeted, specific. It's on the Egyptian god of light. Okay, your god says he controls light. Well, not for y'all. Sorry,
Yep.
suckers.
Yeah.
Your king needs to bow the knee, but of course he never does. So yeah,
Right.
that's just
Okay.
Ah,
yeah.
So the 10th one, the last one here. Um, Death of the firstborn. So we get to this one, and this is where the whole thing goes nuclear, so to speak. Because now we're not just talking about one god here or there. We're talking about kingship itself, about the royal line, about the future. In Egypt, Pharaoh is not just a politician with a nice hat. Egyptian kingship is bound up with divine rule, succession, cosmic order, Ma'at. The
right.
king, Pharaoh is expected to uphold Ma'at, or he is woven into that structure. The king was regarded as a god. His task was to uphold Ma'at, and kingship represented the effective power of that order. And there's another layer. In Egyptian royal ideology, kingship is continuity. The line survives, the son follows the father. In mythic language, Horus succeeds Osiris. That succession is part of the whole symbolic architecture. So when the firstborn dies, Yahweh is not merely causing grief, he is severing Egypt's future. He is striking the machine of divine kingship at the point of succession. The line that claims to preserve Ma cannot preserve its own heir. The throne that
Huge.
claims cosmic backing cannot defend its next embodiment. That is the closing argument in this, battle,
Oh, yeah.
cosmic battle.
And
Wow.
so
Yeah.
so the final plague is basically Yahweh saying, So you say your kingdom is eternal, then why can it survive one night?" And
Jeez.
I mean, that's powerful, but also, like, thinking about literarily and what's going on theologically, not that they would have gotten this at that point in time, but we can look at it, and what's interesting is also, sorry, I'm just interjecting something
Oh
here,
no,
but
you're good. Go
Oh,
for
go
it.
yeah,
for it.
but there's good evidence to say that the what the Bible calls the death bringer, the angel of death, at that point in time, and they had the Pasach, which is the Passover, and the angel that came and did this. It's good evidence to say that that was the second person of the Trinity, which would have been the angel of the
Well,
Lord, which would have been Christ Himself, and so
yeah, the
you
embodied
know
Yahweh.
the
Yeah.
embodied Yahweh, and so therefore, you know who was called the firstborn of creation, which we know he wasn't born, but he was called the firstborn of creation is the one that's coming in and
Begot,
taking
not
out the
made.
firstborns. Yeah, yeah, begotten,
Yeah.
not made. But
Mhm.
he's the one coming in and taking out the firstborns,
Yeah.
you know?
It's
And so
the
therefore you see this bigger picture when we look at it, we see this bigger picture of whoa, God Yahweh is doing something truly theologically symbolic here and making
yeah.
a huge point for all of eternity. He's
Yeah.
doing this right now, and that's just mind blowing to me.
It really is.
It really is. I mean, it's just the big like the big picture is just like uh God's just coming through. Like we talked about at the very beginning, one by one, picking them off. Like, and he's not even I don't even feel like God's flexing really. He's just
Right.
kind of like
Yeah.
he's just like, okay, all right. Well, it reminds me of Psalm 2. He that sits in the heaven shall laugh,
Right.
and she shall hold them in derision. The people of earth, they gather together, make, imagining them a vain thing or whatever. And it's just like, okay, he's laughing because it's so funny to him that even these puny deities, supernatural beings, whatever's going on there, he's just laughing at it all.
Right.
And then he just
Yeah.
goes, "All right, da
He
da 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 da
mocked.
da, bah."
He
Your river gods don't
yeah.
rule, your fertility gods don't rule, your healing gods don't rule, sky gods, sun
Right.
gods, the king, none of them rule. Yahweh rules.
Right.
Uh, and really,
Yeah.
Exodus is written with this real awareness of Egyptian religion, ritual, and royal ideology, and that's why the whole thing feels so sharp. It's not vague. It's targeted. It's specific, and God knows exactly where Egypt is vulnerable. So
Yeah.
Right.
So if somebody says the Exodus is a liberation story, the answer is yes, absolutely. But it's not merely liberation. It's more than that. It's liberation by public dethronement. It's deliverance by divine confrontation. It's Yahweh walking into the symbolic center of the empire and saying, "All these gods you trust, watch this."
I'm sorry. That's just funny to me. Yeah, because he's just like, you know what? Okay, now it's time. Now it's time for me to show you exactly who I am. And you know what? That preaches.
yeah,
This is our God. This is
dude,
Yahweh. You
and that's
know,
what's
this
so
is the
cool
one
about it.
we
This is our
serve.
God. And the
Yeah.
thing I like about it too, the part of that preaching part is that yeah, this is our God. We get to serve him, and anybody, anybody's welcome to serve him. Like you
Right.
don't have to harden your heart. Like you can come. There's lots of Egyptians that went out with the Israelites. They
Right.
said, you know, this place is screwed. Let's go with these people.
Right.
You know,
And you
their
see
God's the real God. Yeah.
and you see and that's part of seeing God's grace in all this.
Right.
Also is that he's reaching out to the Gentiles the whole time saying,
Right.
"Hey, you can be a part of this family. You can be a part of my kingdom." And there's people you'd never expect, Rahab the harlot and,
Right.
you know, I mean, people that just, you're like, "What? God chose." I mean, Rahab's in Jesus's line. I mean,
Right.
it's amazing to me to see his
Yeah.
grace through him showing up the gods of Egypt, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. It's wild.
All right. Well, we have covered a significant amount of information today. Initially this was going to be one episode, but like the gods of the Old Testament, multiple episodes that was supposed to be one, this is going to become
This
two.
is it.
So
This is
tune
it,
in
yeah,
next week
yeah.
for, Darkness Falls, the Exodus, the plagues, and the War of the Gods, part two. Um, so we do want to thank all of our listeners for taking the time to, sit down with us, drink some coffee, and listen to us ramble on about some cool theology and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah,
Right.
and,
Yes.
if you wanna find more stuff about our show, you can go to freshgroundtheology.com. We are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, pretty much everywhere we can get our show, it's out there. And if you could leave a rating and a review or, a bunch of comments, you could go to our Facebook page and leave some comments on our Facebook page, and we'll interact with you too. It's a lot of fun. We really do thank you for listening, and of course, we do have a merch store,
We
which you
do.
can go buy. I'm drinking out of a Fresh Ground Theology mug right now, and everything tastes better in an FGT mug. I can
And
tell you that.
I have to say
Truly
the
does.
Fresh Ground Theology coffee is not bad. I
On
like it.
point.
Well, I would say it's pretty great instead of not bad.
Okay, pretty great.
It's
My bad.
really good.
My bad. Pretty great.
All right. Um, but let's go ahead and wrap this up. So, Wes, would you like to close us out in the Lord's Prayer?
Yes, yes, it would. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
May the Lord bless thee and keep thee. The Lord make his face shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee. The Lord lift up his countenance upon thee and give thee peace.
Amen. We'll see you
Amen.
next time. Special thanks to Mayu for his song Fernwin for the theme music for today's episode.